Hey, I'm Trey Celaya. I am in Nashville with Meinl and just got done filming some drum videos. I'm gonna go through all the sticks and cymbals I'm using for you guys. Firstly, I'm using the Meinl Stick Brush Holland signature sticks. I was actually using the same sticks that Holland used to play. And then when Holland came out with these signatures with Meinl, these just felt like a better version of that stick. And so it was an easy switch for me. It just felt more comfortable and they had a little bit more length on them that I liked. The weight was a little better balanced in my opinion. These are all Byzance series cymbals. I'm using the Equilibrium Hihats, the Matt Gartzka signatures. They look different because I'm actually flipping them. I'm using the bottom on the top and the top on the bottom. Usually you see that like unlathed, like very raw looking surface on the top, but I've got them flipped so they look kind of shiny and cool. And I'm kind of doing that because I think it has a little more stick definition that way. But you know, that's just me. For the splash, I mean, this is actually my first time trying it for this session, using the Vintage Splash 10-inch. I kind of wanted something, I was using a Brilliant for a while, but I wanted something a little more trashy and explosive, a little quicker. And this feels like a really well-rounded, like it's trashy and it's got kind of like the explosive sound, but still not super, like, it just feels really well-balanced and nothing offensive about it. It just punches in and out and it's really nice. Then we have the 19-inch medium thin crash traditional. This has stayed on my setup really like since I've played Meinl. Just like a really good classic sounding cymbal, and I think at 19 inches is like kind of a sweet spot for just a nice, like, I'm always using it for accents or downbeat punches, you know? Then over here for the ride, I'm using the 21-inch Polyphonic ride. This is a work of art. This is a masterpiece of a cymbal, I think. You can ride on it, the bell is super cutting and loud and nice sounding, and it crashes so well. Like, I honestly, when I play with Fit for a King, I honestly crash on it the majority of the set, and it sounds great for like big choruses. It just really like kind of fills space and puts a lot of color like underneath whatever you're playing on it when you crash, and you can also use it for big downbeats and everything. Very well-rounded ride cymbal. And then I have a 20-inch Jazz extra thin ride here that I'm using as a crash. It's kind of, you might not suspect to use a ride as only a crash, but it just opens up super quickly. It's very, very buttery feeling. This cymbal, I think, is very comparable to the extra thin hammered crash traditional series, also Byzance, but this one to my ear has like a little more harmonic richness. Like it's a little more, if a traditional crash is over here and the extra thin hammered's over here, this feels like it's in a nice sweet spot in the middle. And then over here for the stack we have, I'm actually using the Artist Concept Matt Gartzka Fat Stack bottom, and then on top I'm using a Vintage Trash Crash, both 16 inches. This I actually got from Gabe from I Prevail. He kind of turned me onto this stack combo. I think the Fat Stack bottom is just a super good template for any like stack configuration you want to try, and I just really like this Vintage Trash Crash on top. It's super sandy and smooth and it feels buttery. I'm using it flipped, but it never feels like, it doesn't really tear up my sticks at all, and it doesn't feel like jarring to hit. It feels really smooth. So this has stayed on my kit really since Gabe turned me onto it. lastly, I'm using the 20-inch Equilibrium China, also a Matt Gartzka series. This thing is just a very cool sounding China. I like how it feels really buttery and it doesn't really fight you when you hit it. I feel like a lot of Chinas tend to kind of give you a lot of rebound that you might not want if you're kind of grooving on it. This really lets you kind of like sink into it in a nice way, and it feels like it kind of helps you groove. But this sounds just super buttery, and I think it doesn't, a lot of Chinas tend to be super duper loud. But this one I feel like sits really nicely in the context of the kit and is not ever overbearing or anything like that. So this one really plays well with all the rest of the cymbals on the kit. And yeah, that's my Meinl setup.